So again, this is a story of how I passed the CompTIA Linux Plus exam, and basically the summary is there's the backstory. We might don't need that. Might skip that. Review of learning resources, retrospective on studying, experience during the exam, approach during the exam, the awesome badge, and bonus. Don't worry, I'm not gonna cover all the topics. I'm gonna cover topics that are relevant to those who are gonna take the test. But for the audience right now, I do provide these links, and as you can see, I'll send the link in the chat as well. Let's see, because those hyperlinks are basically free resources if you don't have those. Um, okay. Um, let's skip ahead. So first of all, I'd like to thank CU University of Seattle for providing me this opportunity to learn and get CompTIA learning materials and exam vouchers. I think they cost a lot of money. I forgot how much. And skipping on that, so why CompTIA Linux Plus? It's because we were tasked to support the AWS Amazon Web Services apprenticeship program. So they also need to take the CompTIA Linux Plus exam. Hence, the school gave us an opportunity to learn that and also take that exam as well. That was last year. So skipping ahead. So for the resources, there's Cert Master Learn, Cert Master Practice, and Cert Master Labs. For the Cert Master Learn, it has an ebook, performance-based questions, and CompTIA videos. And as for the newer TAs, it kind of changed. You now have a different interface. You don't have the performance-based questions, and you get an additional practice set in this one web application of Cert Master Learn. So in Cert Master Practice, this is basically the multiple choice questions on steroids, because once you accumulated a good amount of wrong answers, it's gonna give you the feedback for your correct and wrong answers as well, and it would push your progress back. So think of it like it's only, let's say, 50 questions, but you have to keep going back if you get wrong answers. Cert Master Labs, I did not quite like them because they tend to be a shorter lab activities to once what we already had before, like infosec labs, especially in security courses. They are more comprehensive and more scenarios with that. So that was my initial thoughts on my resources. So what have I learned? So I read the ebook from top to bottom. I was able to get an overview, but I was not able to retain any knowledge from it. I breezed through the Cert Master Practice, the multiple choice questions, the Cert Master Labs. I gained nothing as well. So what's wrong? So because of circumstances, I was not able to continue learning during last year. So fast forward, when the program ended last November 2019, we asked for feedback from other students on what are their tips, what worked or what did not in terms of the materials. They said the following: focus on the activities section of the study guide, which is the ebook. Do the virtual labs repeatedly, which I kind of did not do. Go through the practice exam. Going through the practice exam was not effective as well with the Cert Master Practice. That's what they said. And they started purchasing this itpro.tv videos, which we were not able to provide that time. So after several months, because of classes, capstone, looking for jobs, and did not have time, but then I felt guilty and started studying again. And this time I have a new plan of attack. I started reading again from top to bottom, but this time around, I was reading in every theory definition command, option subcommands, or directory or file that I would encounter. I would create a flashcard in Trello. Looks like here. So everyone can access this one. It's public. So I built this as my own learning tool as well. You guys can use it. It's better to have a discussion with someone else. Kim helped me a lot with this when we were using the Trello board. Next, on my own, I would have my own Linux environment. So I followed the study guide to have a CentOS version 7 to have it up and running with VirtualBox. And now I would go to the activity section and try to type in the commands and follow the scenarios on how to configure stuff, how to create users, group, modify permissions. And it turns out doing that, which is hands-on, it really helped me retain my knowledge. Whenever I come back and have a study session with Kim, it's easier for me now to just, oh, I know this right from the bat. Like, I know how to configure users, groups, and files. Also, because I'm using MacBook and Mac OS is a Unix-like terminal. So I kind of get to practice like doing a cat command, doing an echo, doing a git, whatever, Linux command that's similar. Also, this time I utilized the Cert Master Practice exam again. This is the multiple choice. But this time around, I would have, again, it was only Kim. So I would have Kim do a discussion, read the question, and not only guess the answer, but we would discuss why is this wrong? Why is this wrong? Why is this wrong? And then why is this right? So that's the process of elimination. So, and this one I already mentioned. And because I did not really like Cert Master Labs, it's like very, very short. I did not use it during my study, okay? And there are three topics that I hesitated to study. One is bash scripting because I'm already studying about software development. So for me, I did not really need to learn a lot about bash scripting because it's kind of similar. It's just different syntax, right? But I've been using it as well to boost my productivity, either from hitting a command to quickly open up my Word document or hitting a command to quickly do a git add commit and push. So those kind of like scripts or automations. Version control, because again, we've been using Git or GitHub for the other TAs that are gonna take the exam. You should be good to go with the hands-on practice that we've had. We got this covered. You don't really need to learn a lot of version control. Containers and orchestration, another exception, because I love reading about it, even though I haven't really practiced using a lot, but I love reading about it. Hence, I did not go over that. And it's only intro level in the exam, so don't spend too much time on that. And then we found out the binge-worthy IT Pro.tv videos. Was very accidental because we April 2019, we got news of new AAP students, and basically the Dean Sam told me to check this material out. At first, I was hesitant because I thought it was the same. Turns out the IT Pro.tv standalone videos has 16 hours of content compared to the other videos, which are totaling 22 minutes. Okay, so that one is very fantastic because they dove deeper into the topics and explain the commands thoroughly, even with the help of a co-host to ask why we needed to use those commands. And the average of that video is about 15 minutes long, which is good because they go deeper into topics. So now, I didn't have time to go through a lot of it because I just recently found this out as well. So I just started picking videos and watch based on the topic that I know I couldn't explain to anyone. And I combined this strategy as well to use the multiple choice on steroid search master practice to fill in my knowledge gap. Okay, so in the middle of 2019, I scheduled my CompTIA Linux Plus exam online testing. Basically created this online test environment due to pandemic. So now I'm first gonna talk about the online testing procedures, then what I felt and how did I do. So exam procedures, basically you have to have internet connection, a webcam, a microphone, photo valid ID, pictures of your front, back, left, right for your testing environment. So if any of those is not working, they might be suspicious or maybe flag you for review instead of getting the badge if you passed it. And then no headphones, smartphones, electronics within your reach, and the full details should be here. Okay, so during exam time, yes, you do need quiet time. So a good thing my partner created this sign. So be quiet and everyone. Next, my experience with the online test app. I scheduled it at midnight. It was intentional to avoid any noise in the house, and the proctor would be there to see you in the webcam, but you can't see them. And what would usually happen is if you have something like a trouble on your testing application, you just hit the chat. It will ping them, and someone would come you. It will most likely be not the same proctor because they have a pool of proctors doing it. And my experience with the application of the online testing environment, it is slow and crashed several times. The proctor said it was due to high volume of test taker. For me, it crashed and slowed down like 4 times, but I wouldn't say it really impacted a lot with my finishing the exam. So what I felt during the exam. Now this is very important, especially for the test taker. First few questions I got in exam were performance-based questions. It was super hard. I couldn't answer with 100% confidence. I encountered a problem with Linux commands, basically putting them together, let's say grep and awk, and piping to another command. And another problem was about, let's say, a security policy violation, and you have to inspect each command and check each output and see what additional configuration you need. So during that time, I was thinking, if only I have professional experience, this would have been easier. So as I went through more questions, I really felt dumb, lost my confidence, don't know how to answer about the network system or user configuration. In the bash scripting portion, I thought I was really good at it, and then they throw me regular expression. I was like, okay, this is out of my league. So I had 30 minutes left, felt like failing, okay? And my thoughts of plan B is coming back because most of you guys know me. I always say that, oh, I'm fine with failure. I want failure. I fail and then do successful next time. I keep putting that in my head. But around the 28-minute mark, when I was about to call it quits and submit the exam, I said, someone talked to my head. I'm not crazy. It said, don't think about failure now. Use the remaining minutes and do your best. So this is what I've been saying, that this is now my reality. How can it be? How can I be at my best? So I use my remaining time to jump around questions until I cover them all. This time with more focus, I changed almost 80% of my answers, and I started to do the following strategy to increase my chances of getting the right answer. One, process of elimination. I've talked that earlier. I remove choices that I know totally is wrong. Next, stick with what you know. So if I was given an option that I don't even know what it does, the command, I wouldn't try to guess it unless it's the last resort. So I would stick to something that I would likely know more, that what the output is going to be. Deeper focus, I try to read word by word this time, like slowly, word by word, to try to use my comprehension and logical thinking to kind of piece out together if it will be the right answer. And lastly, I would have sometimes eyes closed, mind open. I convinced myself I studied really hard for this exam, so it must have been stored in my brain somewhere. With that in mind, I tried to retrieve those memories to achieve to achieve the 100% confidence in some questions that I have around only 70% confidence in answering. I kept repeating those strategies above until the last minute, and as you can see, this is a good, a happy story. So I passed it, and I kind of like the Instagram stickers. So now they call it CompTIA Linux Plus certified, I think. And lessons learned for me, this is more of like after taking the exam, is I should really stop taking this exam when I don't have the professional experience, because I encountered the same difficulty before with my AWS developer certification exam. In studying, I should have done more assessments early on. When I already know what's not working, I should have not sped through all the materials, right? During the exam, yes, I told this that I should allow myself to accept the reality and do my best. That's it. And lastly, remember to have study sessions with friends, colleagues, as you have more chance to grow your knowledge exponentially. And because with the AAP program, Sam always puts this aside from the leave no man behind, is we stay together, we survive. So here's what the culture that we want to do in this club as well. We stay together, we survive, we become our best. And next, right now, basically I'm just a program manager for the incoming cohort. So this exam experience, whether I failed it or passed it, would be a really great experience so that I can help the incoming students as well as the TAs to lead this program. So I'll keep doing my best to improve my skills to help the community, friends, colleagues, classmates, and I hope you do the same more. So thank you. Send the link so you can just read it on your own pace, and I don't want to take up more time.
Congratulations, Clara. Again. Yeah, I really like how you outlined also what not to learn, because that's for me always a really big challenge. And now that you took the test already, you could tell people, what to not focus on, because there's always such a big workload, especially if these tests look really hard. And good luck for everyone who's going to take these tests. If you have more questions, now's the time to ask, or contact Clive again and check out the thingy, the, how do you call that?
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Ilana. I appreciate it.
I have a question.
Yes, Sam.
You said you have on 30 minutes and then go back. You checked 80% of them, you changed it. To me, it looks like it's somewhat suspicious. How come you can have enough time to do that, to check the whole 80%? What was your technique? Did it
So
show
I
KPI?
did
You
an
can do that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So for me, I did an unconventional approach. So I would check question 10, question 20, 30, 40, 50, and then question 12, question 22, question 32, question 42. So I jump around like that so that but it's really enough. The 28 minutes is enough because I know it's like 65 questions, but at least I have like 10 questions very sure that I don't have to come back. So that's like
Okay.
55 questions. So yeah, so it's kind of still enough time.
So means you have some note and then you put into the this question ideally confirmed. I don't have to. The other one you look put into the kind of a check mark. Hey, this one I needed to double check again. Looks like did you have that kind of a note taking too in the middle of exam?
So in the middle of the exam, what would happen is on the left hand side, I should have showed
Mhm.
this as well. On the left hand side of the whole exam application, when you click that, it says review. When you click review, it pops you up a lot of items from 1 to 65, and you can jump around the question.
Okay. Okay, that
And
means
I think
my question is
uh,
how did you remember which question was clearly done? You don't have to visit it. How did you know that?
So because it's easy once you've been taking a lot of the practice exam, so you kind
Uh-huh.
of can click. Let's say I click number 20, and
Uh-huh.
just a split second you see that, oh, I know this, so you go back out right away. Just that's a split second only.
No, no, my question is
Okay.
how could you remember that question? That question I needed to revisit.
Oh, so good point. Sorry, I did not answer this as well. So
Yeah.
another thing that you have a functionality in the testing app is you can flag your questions. So if you flag it, it's just like a you remember that, oh, you have to go back that in that question. So you can flag it.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And then the other one, okay, you did this one. Did you put into this one in LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Yes.
Then anything changed after you put there?
Well,
Now?
most of my phone calls is still like full stack, so I don't know if
Okay.
they're gonna ask for system developer.
Okay.
So Mary is asking how valuable is this cert? Would you recommend it to someone? Um, this is always the question. It's most of the time it's more like if you really like learning, yes, that's one. Second is if you don't have any experience, at least this shows to the recruiters that you are working towards something instead of nothing, right? At least it shows you dedication. So would you recommend it to someone? Try to get a sponsorship because the Linux Plus exam is kind of expensive, like 300 plus, unless you get like a CompTIA discount. And go for other certificates. So like cloud computing, like is only $100 compared to the 329 bucks, right? And this is more like for system developer. More question? No question? Okay. No, David, I'm not the Linux master. Thank you. You are the Linux master.
I
Okay.
disagree with that statement. You have a certification to prove that you are now. I actually had a question. So, why do you think professional experience in Linux would have made taking this test a lot easier?
Yeah, because good question. Because both the AWS certification and this certification, most of them are scenario based, and then they have like steps, configuration steps. And if you've been doing this in your work, it's easy. As in, some of them might have a breeze on it. And I kind of investigate further about this. So if there's a new certification coming out, not a new version, a new certification, I believe that by just theories and multiple choice, those type of stuff, you can pass the exam. But once the exam matures, and then a lot of people are certified now, they try to change it and evolve it into a lot of scenario-based questions, which are harder for those who doesn't have experience.
Thank you. I just want I made a comment on in the chat saying that professional experience isn't always the going to be the most important part of CompTIA certs. Well, maybe not necessarily CompTIA certs, but certifications in general.
Yeah.
As someone who has recently taken OSCP, and I'm pretty sure I failed it, uh, having professional experience doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do great. But I could see for Linux that it definitely is. It would be beneficial. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Clark. Article was the word I was going to say. So go back to Clark's article. And I think we can all, not me, I'm not going to take the test, but for those who are, that's going to be good preparation for sure. Also, I like how you had like some psychological tricks for it, during the exam. So yeah, we can all learn from each other's experience. So thank you very much, Clark.
Thank you
And
again for the opportunity, guys.
sorry.